Once again, good morning and happy Friday. And it's my privilege to be here after 3 years. I'm very happy, and all the way, very beginning, I want to share my thanks to Praveen first, and then my chair, my member, my leader. Thank you. Thank you for spending time this Friday over this morning. My topics, basically, I did this proposal last year, exactly the month of January, and here I am after 12 months. So the topics is still the same, the factors influencing continuation intention in AI-powered mobile financial services. So it was two essay, but now we converted into, for all of your suggestion, converted into one essay. One essay covers mainly the continuation, rather just an adoption. So by today's agenda is basically I'll just go through my background about the bKash, and then personal motivation, and then study. I'll go through all the points, all the key highlighters. But the bold one, I will spend more time on that, as because these are the main addition after the proposal. So without further ado, I'll start with my very beginning, sharing my backgrounds. I'm in the industry around 20 years, so that I'm just carrying over my industry experience to my academic. I became a passionate almost 4 years before that. Okay, it's 20 years, enough time. I can leverage my industry experience to the academia. I can blend this industry and academia both. So basically, currently I'm working in the Johnson Control as an IT delivery lead in the financial system, mainly focus on. And then where already we are practicing the AI, we introduce the AI, several implementation tools, some validation tools, some mapping tools, some reconciliation tools, we already implemented and we are already started using. And then we have enterprise level, all these several AI tools. Even for HR, we have 8 AI tools. We don't go to HR help desk. We don't pick up a call in Johnson Control that, hey, what is my this year whole holiday calendar? We just go to our chatbot and ask them. I mean, most of the question is solved by chatbot. So every sector we already implemented, and we are already using those. So I want to bring that expertise, understanding in my academia world, and then I learned how to build a trust, how to build a reliability, how to become a compliance. And then definitely I learned produce the service quality, how to produce service quality, how to carry on with that. That is my industry bucket, my research bucket. I'm here with the help of all of you. I learned a lot. Thank you for that. I learned a lot in terms of theoretical, in terms of methods and empirical analysis. And then my research focus entire last 3 years was completely the domain with AI. My domain is IT system adoption, while we integrated the artificial intelligence with it. So that was my main domain. I work at different papers, concentrating on different focused area. And then I learned how to integrate the theory with the write-up, with the study. And then definitely the scholar practitioner, I bring the industry problem, and then I work and study analysis, and then which makes ready for publish. So that's my main background. I'll move on to the bKash. I said in my agenda bKash. I just choose the company called bKash in Bangladesh. I'm from Bangladesh, my back home Bangladesh. I came this country 14 years before. Before coming this country, I worked in a banking industry, IT. So having said that, I know them very well from previous itself. When there was no AI, when there was no so much of feature, I know them very well from that beginning. But today, my study focus on, okay, if I'm hooked up with the bKash platform, if I hook up the AI, then how it looks like. So when I'm just clicking through, the bKash is nothing but a mobile financial services company. In Bangladesh, urban and suburban, who don't, number one, the main focused area, who don't have bank account, what they do, how they transact their money, how they send their money, how they share their love and happiness to others. So who don't have any bank account, that is the starting point. So if you see here, I have highlighted all the main feature: send money, mobile recharge, cash out, and then make payment, add money, pay bills, and savings, and paying micro loans, and it least go on. So, but main focus, they started with the sharing money to the non-bankers. So I just try to picture it over here, and people can buy tickets, railway tickets, bus tickets, all these from this platform. And then I just try to say, okay, how to send money to others. So that is their key feature. So that's all about bKash. So today bKash has 30 million their customer base, user base. And they capture 50% of the Bangladesh market, and remaining 50% others stakeholders, like government generated platform called Nagad, other banks called Rocket, UPay. So they capture 50% and bKash capture 50%. So my targeted area on the bKash is basically the existing customer, how they, if we hook up the AI feature, what is the reaction, what is their acceptability, what is the reliability on those features, and that tends them, that helps them to stay or keep continuing in the long term. So the bKash, I want to little bit highlight on my related with my research area, my study area. So first of all, it's basically high frequency uses. It's a P2P, meaning it's a point-to-point payment. It's a point-to-point payment, QR payment, bill pay, and then it has AI-enabled service, main AI-enabled service they're enjoying a lot. When I work and I collected data, I saw that people are enjoying a lot the fraud detection. In developed country, both, it's very well familiar, everybody is expert on frauding. So it helps tremendously. It has a chatbot system, it has a personalized marketing campaign based on the region, it throw the marketing campaign, and then it has a trust and security feature, and definitely it has a focused on mainly the rural area and then city area as well. And context to that platform feature, how it relates to my research. The first one, the high frequency uses, which gives me the continuation of intention, which is basically ideal for studying the post-adoption use. And second, in the platform feature, AI-enabled ecosystem, which gives me, or which is relevant to my study, the service quality and retention when I hook up the AI. And then the third one, which is basically examines the, okay, you are building trust, how far the trust is dependable, how far the trust is reliable. So that gives me the opportunity to test it, and then emerging market evidence. So AI, mobile financial service, is really, it's growing each and every day. And then they are also listening to the user base, what user want, and that's how they are progressing, enhancing, and adapting the user requirements as well. So next, I'll move on my motivation area, what's motivate me to do this research. So first, it's a motivation bucket is industry reality. Yes, at this point of time, we cannot, if I like AI or not, doesn't matter, it will move on. It's moving on every quarter. In the industry, observance says that every quarter there is a big release. It's not a beta release or delta release, it's a full release every quarter. So it's growing exponentially. So which is basically the core insight from the reality that which is long-term retention and often fails. Yes, adoption, initiation is fine, but long-term retention fails. So that's my motivation area. Next, AI in practice. When you are practicing AI, it has to have trust, value, and user experience, which is basically driving factor for continuous use. Third one, the research gap. This is basically, it's the adoption is there, but there is a gap is there. What factor makes them to continue for long? So that's the main contribution here. And then fourth one is academia to industry, making a bridge, bringing the academic, all the theories, and blend with the industry. And the research purpose, basically, the main core words is AI-driven retention. So if I hook up the AI feature in the existing platform, how user react, how user response, so and what driving them to stay for long. So this is my core area of personal motivation. So basically, when I'm moving on, I'm going on the more and more details on these. So this is how basically, if I picture out my entire study domain, I'm hooking up with the existing platform, the fraud detection, chatbots, assistance, personalized feature, data analytics. So if I say got data analytics, if I just maybe the fraud detection by itself, it says chatbots, personalization feature. I want to take a time on the personalization feature. Personalization feature, as I said already, it has a basically 8 divisional region in Bangladesh, and 8 division people culture. They speak Bengali, but their thought process is different. So the personalized feature and their regional festival is a little different. So based on the regional festival, regional situation, the marketing campaign and offer is varies. So that's what comes into AI contribution over here, and the data analytics. Data analysis core contribution, I found that they are doing and helping data analysis very instantly when someone asking for microcredit loan. Immediately it goes on, immediately it checks, yeah, it's a very small loan, it's not a big loan, it's a very small loan, but still it goes to the database, it checks the customer profile, and which is called in banking industry called KYC, know your customer, all those databases, and it hookups to the original database also, and then it takes the instant decision pre-approved. So that's the data analysis portion. So all these are core AI contribution from the bKash platform. And then my study area, okay, if I hook up the AI feature, then my personal user perception of what it builds based on the trust, security, reliability, and emotional, all these connect together, and then it's creates to the, or it drives to the continuation intention or long-term use. It's a 2 more factor I have introduced here. There's as a mediator value co-creation, and satisfaction or service delivery. So that is a mediator. We'll see more on these clear picture in the theoretical model, and then finally which leads to continuation intention at the end. So this is my theoretical framework. Basically, if I take is a 4 bucket. First bucket, it's a independent variable, and then this one independent variable, this one is basically the level 1 mediator, this is level 2 mediator, and this is my dependent variable, and these are the control variables which already we assume and our target area is within this area. So starting from independent variable, which is psychological antecedent, is nothing but trust along with AI powered mobile financial services, security along with AI services, privacy along with AI services, and emotional connection. So these are the core 4 bucket, which is at the inception, and I'm hooking up with that in a relational interaction with the mediator level 1. So number 1 factor construct here, comfort with AI in bKash. And then number 2 in the level 1 mediator, value co-creation. So when we hook up this independent variable with the level 1 mediator, it produces directly and indirectly. So directly it's it's creates the delivery outcomes, which is service quality or service satisfaction, and then indirectly it's helping them or driving them to stay in the platform for long, continue to take their service for long. So that's the impact analysis in my study. And control variables, when I choose this control variable very carefully, I choose this control variable as because I cannot ask the people who are not technically familiar, not familiar with the AI. So I have to be very, for my study purpose, even though they are customer based more on rural basis, outside city basis, illiterate people, but for my research study purpose, I have to choose who are familiar with technology, who are familiar with AI feature. So I will explain more who are my target area and how I collected data and how I reach into conclusion. So basically, I was location basis, gender, age, and the technological factors. Okay, who are familiar to use smartphone, familiar to use the technology, familiar to use internet. So that is my target area to collect the data. And then social influence. Okay, if I am the family influence, peer influence, colleague influence, those influence also matters. So overall, this is my theoretical framework, theoretical structure of my study. And finally, I have added moderator. So moderator is basically the self-efficacy. So self-efficacy will play a major role over here to speed the process or speed the efficiency, speed the continuation to stay. So this is my complete framework of my study. Moving on next, my research core key questions. First of all, started with the psychological antecedent. Number one, how do we trust? How do we establish security? How to maintain privacy? How to maintain emotional relation? Who is driving factor to stay long, driving factor to take the service as a continuation service. My second question is relational mediation. Yes, after having all these psychological antecedents, does it create any comfort when they are using? Does it create comfort when you are adding AI? And then value co-creation. So these two will start with the mediating effect. Third major question is service mediation. Is the service delivery outcomes really mediate beyond the relational effect? So mediate I added as a relational, but definitely it's my question is it goes beyond or not. Then moderation, perceived self-efficacy, is it really helping or not helping in this relationship? And then fifth major question is integrated effects. How do psychological, relational, service, and self-efficacy factor is help or drive to stay in the service for long? And then my last question is practical implication. What is the findings? How can I find, okay, how to improve the trust, how to improve the engagement, how to improve their efficiency, and to build which drives basically loyalty, and loyalty drives to stay the service for long. So that's my last question. Moving on next. So I'll just try to define very briefly all these variables. By now, I already try to share, okay, what is this construct all about? So trust is basically, we know that when we hook up the AI, really trust is a very key factor. If I don't trust, if I in a situation that, okay, if I use this feature, my privacy will go away, my security will go away, my social involvement and my financial data will go away, then definitely nobody will use. Then moving on next, security, which definitely is a key feature for any financial transaction. And then privacy, of course, I should not have any doubt, any question that, okay, if I use this financial transaction, my privacy will just compromise. No. And then emotional connection is basically, it's a very effective and affective bonds it will create, which creates and then which will give them to stay for long. So these are the main core definition of independent variable. Moving on next, the mediator level 1, mediator level 2. So first one, level 1 is comfort with AI. So it's a basically psychological impact or psychological reaction. Second one is value co-creation, which is basically building a situation, building a hand-to-hand shaking relation where service offered and who is taking service, they will feel that they are part of it. They are not ignored by the service they are offering. And then mediator level 2, service delivery outcomes, when relational interaction start between independent variable all these personal antecedent with the level 1, which eventually creates the service outcomes. And then which creates efficiency, reliability, and responsiveness from the service outcomes, and that is the part of the study. And then moderator variable and then dependent variable and controls. So moderator variables, I just added the perceived self-efficacy, which basically gives a confidence when it's a matter comes security, trust, emotional relation, and privacy. And then finally, my core dependent variable is a continuation intention, staying long term in that same platform. So that's basically when I hook up AI services, which creates a lot of question, a lot of trust issue, a lot of privacy issue, a lot of emotional issue, a lot of privacy issue. So that's all depends on, so these continuation intentions depends on all these background factor. So that is my study area and contribution here. And then control variables I already explained earlier, so I'm not moving on next. As I'm planning to spend more time on the data and analysis, I'll move on there. Research gap, problem statement. What is my problem statement? My problem statement is with the existing bKash platform, with the existing mobile financial services platform, if I hook up the AI powered service, AI feature, yes, they will adopt, they will take the service, but how long they will keep using that, how long they will stay in the service, that is my problem statement. And research gap, definitely prior studies, they focused mostly and majorly on initial adoption, but continuation intention it's little ignored. And then which is basically lack of AI specific psychological and relational mechanism, that also has a gap. And then limited evidence from the emerging market. Yes, it will be limited evidence by knowing a fact that AI is not year-long feature. It's the last few years, hardly 3 years, 4 years. So definitely that is there already. And my study contribution, the shift focus from the initial adoption to the continuation intention, and I've introduced the AI specific antecedent, trust, security, privacy, and emotion. And then explains how it creates a relational environment between my personal antecedents versus service outcomes, which leads to continuing intention. So that's my contribution. Moving on next, so these are the key statistics on the research gap. The first focus area is the adoption versus continuation, where it shows 75% plus studies focus on initial adoption. So I'm trying to focus on the continuation, AI trust and risk, 58 to 65%. They are worried about their transparency, their privacy, emotional relation is less than 25% has been studied so far. And then definitely AI is not so much well known to everyone, so it's a little, it's a reality. And then multi-level mediation is less than 10% applied so far. Self-efficacy, so 12 to 15%. Research has been done on that area. Emerging market 75% plus on the developed economies, not to the developing. So that's the almost maybe 2/3 of the world developing, and develop is 1/3. So we need to pay focus on those area. And then adoption versus retention. So it's the percentage of the adoption, it has been studied so far 30 to 40%. I'll just say that here the emerging market, so this is basically why it matters. I will focus key items. This is actually limited to relevance to one country specific analysis. So that is also definitely it's a key area, and Bangladesh is a developing country, but yeah, it's growing fast. It's growing fast. So moving on next. My theoretical foundation, this theory is grounded on my study. So the theory of innovation of diffusion theory, DOI theory, what it does basically, so it explains how, why, and what rate new technologies it's spread through the social systems. So that's the main key message or key contribution of this theory. And then basically if I use in this theory the AI diffusion in the mobile financial service using this theory, how it relates. My second and third theory, taking that innovation of diffusion theory, it's theory of result action, which result action leads to a behavior, which is number third theory, theory of planned behavior, TPB. So if I articulate here, basically in the result action, the trust, security and privacy and emotional connection all is attitude factor, psychological incidents, which basically convert or connect to a behavioral bucket or behavioral intention, and which leads to continuation intention. So these are the basically theories are integrated to explain my current study, which is beyond the initial adoption, rather a continuation intention. Moving on next, we'll go on the hypothesis. First hypothesis is trust with the mediation level 1, establish a relation, and then it has a twofold: trust with comfort, trust with value co-creation. So trust with comfort is basically trust in AI-powered mobile financial services which increase user comfort with AI interaction. That's the first thing first. If I don't trust, definitely as an end user, I will not show my interest to go for it. So that's my first, and which hypothesis is which increase the user comfort. And then second one is basically the trust is hook up with the value co-creation, which is trust is in AI-powered mobile financial services, enhance the value co-creation. So the twofold of this hypothesis, hypothesis A and B, when I hook up this trust with comfort, trust with value co-creation. Moving on next, when security is get into a relational interaction, and then it talks with the level 1 mediation, comfort and value co-creation. So security, it's a stronger AI security increase the user comfort. That's the first part of this hypothesis. Second part of the hypothesis, the security AI system enable value co-creation. So the first part is basically it reduces the fear, uncertainty, it builds a confidence, and then definitely it drives a sustainability, it drives to use this system for long. And then second part of these, the security is which talks with value creation, which encourages the data sharing and exchange the thought also. And then it creates a collaborative environment where user forum or user and system can talk. And then it improves a co-created value, service value. So this is when you hook up the security with comfort, with AI and value co-creation, these are the twofold of the hypothesis. And then when I hook up the third personal instance, privacy and establish a relation, and then it is basically establish a connection with comfort with AI and value co-creation. And then its first one is privacy with comfort with AI. So strong privacy increases user comfort, and then second one, the privacy enables AI-driven co-creation. So this is the third bucket, which is privacy, and then first one is basically reduces the psychological resistance, builds a confidence, and second one, which is basically encourages active participation, the privacy when it's hooked up to the value co-creation, and then it's sustain the AI-based co-creation. So this is my third fold of hypothesis. Fourth one, emotional connection. When I hook up, when I take into the relational mechanism and hook up with comfort AI with emotional connection with value co-creation. So first fold of these, it is humanized. The AI increases user comfort. So today we are in a worry of, okay, if I use AI so far in the market response says that AI with humanized service or AI with a complete robotic service, which is more acceptable. Definitely there is a lot of statistics in the market. AI with humanized service is more acceptable, as because which gives the real feelings, which gives the trust, which gives the intimacy offerings. So all these matter. So there's twofold of AI service with humanized environment, AI service with robotic environment. So that's the matters, of course, because we are human beings, we want to live with our own space, even though we are taking the technological benefit out of it. Now moving on next, the level in the fifth bucket of the hypothesis, when the level 1 mediator talks to next level mediator and dependent variable. So comfort with AI with continuation intention, comfort with AI with the service delivery outcome. First one is a dependent variable, which is a indirect, and direct comfort with service delivery, which is a direct impact. Number one, indirect one, basically which is comfort drives continue to stay, and which basically encourage the repeated uses. It's build loyalty, build a habit, build a culture, and then it reduces the post adoption resistance. And then comfort with direct interaction, comfort improves the service performance, which is enables the effective AI use, and which is basically gives the personalization feelings, and which is reduces the friction on interaction. So when people are feel comfort to use the feature and platform what they are offering, they will reduce the friction of interaction, meaning they will freely and openly they feel that okay, this is my system, I can use and I can go for it. That is the final message. And then moving on next, the mediator level 2 with the outcomes of value co-creation value co-creation talks with directly with the service delivery, and value co-creation indirectly contribute to the continuation intention. So first one direct, second one indirect. So first one is co-creation improves service performance, and then value co-creation which is basically drives a long-term use. So first the one is direct, second one is indirect impact. Moving on next on the service delivery with the continuous intention, basically its core hypothesis message is better service outcomes drive continued use. So it's always it's the marketing and offerings core message. The better service it's a drives continued use. And then methods, it's basically I used a quantitative survey. I have collected 448, out of that 348 is valid cases, and then sample data, it's basically bKash 18 plus participants, 18 plus age, and then its measurement I have used 5-point Likert scale, and then control method bias is checked on that, so no bias detected. And then moving on next, data analysis, it's basically the I have done the data screening to check the validity, to check the missing data, to check the normality, check the multicolority, and also I have tested the KMO and Barlett's, which is set for the data for the analysis, which is prove the data for analysis. And then going on the measurement model, and basically I have done a rigorous testing, rigorous valid data check before I go into data analysis. I have used the SPSS 31 and Smart PLS 4 version to check the data. So this is the basically the construct with the example items. I will not spend time on these much. I will move into the next my data analysis portion. So these all basically trust, security, privacy, emotional connection, comfort with AI, value co-creation, service delivery outcomes, continuation intention, and perceived self-efficacy. What is my shortened example of use cases when I do my study? And so first is that in terms of data analysis, So this is my respondent characteristics, their profile. The valid data is 346. So first is focused on the gender, male and female. So I collected, I get good response and high response from the male side rather than female. Actually, it was targeted accordingly. So I choose the main core area, university, CSE and science faculty students, and then some corporate who are related to the technology. So those are the core area I have chosen for collecting the data. And then when it comes to the age, we see the 18 to 24, 61% as because, as I said, I have choose the university college students of the technology department. So that's the 61%. Years using bKash, it's again, it's the user who are using bKash for more than 3 years, they are the highest contributor here. And then regionally, the Dhaka is a completely capital city and which is first contributed. Second is second divisional town Chattogram, that is contributed second, and then rest of the country. When it comes to the education profile, it's most secondary meaning it's all the university college students mostly. So that they are 67% and bachelor and higher who are corporate professional, they contributed 24% and others remaining. And occupation wise, again it goes to the student highest. So I have done the KMO and Bartlett test in the beginning. So KMO, if I see here, the results shows that 0.743, which is above the recommended threshold, is greater than 0.60. What it indicates? It indicates that this data is an adequate sample and it's suitable for factor analysis. That is the first check. Second check is Bartlett test, so which is basically the p-value is significant and it confirms that the correlation is not an identity matrix, rather this and which has a sufficient relationship among the variables. So that's the second test. Overall is acceptable. So I just moved on from this first analysis. Second, the descriptive analysis, all these construct, trust, security, privacy, emotional connection, AI, comfort, value co-creation, service delivery, and continuous intention. So these all mean value is within the range, ABV value is more than acceptable range, also Cron-Bass alpha, the check the validity, and then composite action, and then VI all falls under. So here basically coefficient exceeds the recommended threshold 0.70, number one. Number two, which is significant p-value is within the range p-value, and then basically the satisfying the criteria of adequate indicator loadings, so which is internal consistency also was confirmed. The Cron-Bass alpha is more than 0.70, so which is internal consistency check, and then composite reliability CR value which is suppressing the 0.80. So that's the message from these analyses, and it's all supported in terms of analysis. Moving on next, the discriminant checking the discriminant validity using the Fornell-Lacker criterion, and if I see here all the diagonal values exceed the inter-construct correlation, confirming the discriminant validity. So diagonal values are more exceeds that, all are more than 0.7, and then what does it mean? So the square root of AV for each construct exceed the correlation with other construct. So that also validity passed, and I just moved on the next discriminant validity, which is better than Fornell-Lacker, which is STMT. So if you see here, it has a long table. I just took the shortcut one, the one I want to highlight here. The STMT value for all these construct pair, basically it's is below the 0.90. So STMT value is below the 0.90, which is confirming the discriminant validity. So across the measurement model, which is below 0.90. So that is the main test over here. Moving on next. So now the structural model results starts to check the global model fit. So SRMR value is basically it's meet the recommended threshold, and it's confirming that it's a overall model fit. And then which is basically SRMR value is below 0.08, and then ULS, DULS and DZ falls within the bootstrap confidence thresholds, which is basically indicating it's a good global model fit. So first one, SRMR is a good model fit, and then DULS and DZ is an acceptable fit, which is within the range. Moving on next, the hypothesis testing. So first I just grouped the first one with 1 to 4 hypotheses, second psychological antecedent with the value co-creation, and the first one is with the comfort AI. So these are all the beta value is within the range, and then I have gone through the 5A and 5B and 6A and 6B and 7, all hypotheses basically it's within the range. So this is basically the path diagram. If we need, we'll come over here in the later point of time, else I'll move on. It's just a graphical or visual path diagram here showing over here. Moving on next, the mediation effect. So the mediation effect on continuation intention. So basically it's a total indirect effect, security, and then service outcomes, then continuation intention. First one, which is 0.19, which is significant, and then emotional co-creation, establish a relational interaction, goes on service outcomes, and then which drives continuation intention, which also is significant. Fourth one, privacy, goes on, move on next, creates a relational interaction, and then move on service outcomes, and then continuation intention. And then fourth one, trust, which gives a relational interaction, service outcomes, and continuation intention. The last one is value co-creation with service outcomes, and so these are the mediator chain over here, which indirect effect is basically significant. Moving on next, this is again a beta weighted arrows path diagram, left side and right side the traffic light mediation slide. I just learned this during my study. So it looks like it is not all the fully mediated. There is some partial mediation is there. So partial mediation where is there? Value co-creation, service outcomes, and continuation intention. It shows a partial mediation. So that's the picture of, or that's the outcome of the mediation variable over here. Moving on next, so here is basically the green one is the full mediation one. Moving on next. So additional methodological consideration, basically these are the consideration I have taken into consideration during my study. It's a demographic analysis. I already said that data cleaning, I have two corrective measures, and the normality assessment, I have done the missing data handling, and then variable categorization. So these are all has been considered during my study. And then the implication and research and practice. So one portion is research implication, another portion is practice. So first it's contributed the theory extension of DOI, TRA and TPB, which explains AI continuation. And then behavioral insight, continuation driven by, so that is a behavioral insight. Third one is methodological value. So it validates the multi-level mediation. If you remember, I'll recall to my my framework, which I had level 1 and level 2 mediation, that has been validates, and the moderation effect as well. In terms of practice and policy implication, which is basically managerial strategy, that definitely from now on, I like AI or not, it doesn't make any difference to me or somebody else, but AI is just a service as an infrastructure, not as a feature. Meaning it's not a good to have, it's a must to have. So that's the first one. Second one is technology design, human-centered, transparent AI build trust. So it's basically design your technology which builds trust and reliable. And then policy and society, definitely AI should not use any unethical purpose, any compromised purpose. It should be used in ethical way. So that's the policy we should move on when we think about AI. So these are the, yes, my study also is not out of any limitation. It has some limitation. So it's a first limitation. And I shared the future direction, what it can be from my understanding perspectives. It is, yeah, it is a contextual. It is not for the global, not for the many countries. It's for the one countries and one service provider. That is the limitation. Temporal, it's a cross-sectional. It can be taking a long time, but due to the time of the program, it is temporal. And then data source is self-reported perception. Yeah, I mean, in the future, research can be behavioral and transactional data also. And theoretical, it is limited to AI specific. It can use AI literacy and fairness, that also in the upcoming research. Methodological, it's a purposive sampling, PLS-SEM, but it can, in the future research, when time allows more, we can go for mixed methods. And then population, yeah, active users only. In my study, I have taken only active users. But in the future study, it can go the undeserved, underserved users and the who are coming into the late, they can be considered into the study. So these are the key takeaways. Basically, the role of AI and the primary driver, customer loyalty, key mechanism, managerial implication, and research contribution. So the role of AI, as I said, it's an integral feature or integral part of our life. We need to carry on with this. So that's the core insight, core takeaways, primary driver. Basically, the AI influence continuous intention indirectly through a service delivery outcomes. And customer loyalty, definitely when AI enabled service gives trust, build, and quality, it will give to customer loyalty, and customer loyalty drives to stay long. And then key mechanism, basically here again the AI-driven service outcomes gives the comfort of use. Managerial implication, it's sustaining retention. And then research contribution, yes, multi-level framework explaining AI-driven continuous, so which is intention to have an emerging market. So that's the key takeaways from my study. And then why this research matters? Yes, in terms of extension of the use these three theory, DOI, TRA, and TPB, which extends the continuation of intention. Practice, yes, it has a roadmap which comfort and value co-creation leads to service delivery, which service delivery leads to continuation intention. And then policy and society, definitely there should be a policy, ethical guidelines, and then all the do's and don'ts, and also the governance requires here. Core takeaway, the core takeaway is AI sustains continued intention not through novelty, but by quietly delivering reliable, trusted, and human-centered service outcomes that users now expect as normal. So that's the core takeaway and core summary from my study. Acknowledgement, definitely I started my session today acknowledging all the committee members, my faculty staff, goes on with my wife, my son, who traveled with me last 3 years every Friday, meaning monthly every Friday. They stay with me. They help me a lot. They support me a lot mentally and every aspect. And then my parents, I lost my mom last August, so she was with me. She was listening every day what I'm doing, but she's no more. My dad is there, my siblings and extended members. My cohort members, I want to recall the memories, how great time we had, and my mentors. So this is, I'm at the end of my presentation with the questions and comments, please. Thank you.
Thank you for the effort that you've put into this work right here. I think there's something interesting in here. I think just some comment that comes here is that I see in your importance for the contributions that you've made. You've mentioned a couple times the extension of IS theory by extending DOI, TRA, and that for continuous intention. I would probably lighten a little bit less on that? Because it's really what you're delivering here is more of the application of this in this unique context, in the continuation intention in this context. I think that's the true value of some of this work that you're doing, and less on that theoretical contribution. But one question that I've got, the results that you got are fantastic. I mean, everything's supported. I guess my question is should that concern us? Should that worry us that everything comes out as significant? How would you address this?
Yes, when I first run, I see it's all supported, all significant, all positive. Yes, first I felt happy, and then second, back of my mind, okay, if a study which gives everything positive, then there is maybe something to look on, something to think on, that I had total 7 core hypotheses, and all supported. Likely or unlikely, it all came out as a significant, but I wish at least the value co-creation stuff, it shows partially in the mediation effect, but at the end it came significant. But yeah, I wish it could have come at least 1 or 2 is a not supported, which gives more better, but this is the reality, what I got out of the data.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I know you did reference just briefly the common method bias, and those results came out supporting your work right here. So without other questions, I think I'll pass it on to the second, Dr. Peltier.
Okay, so Andy's question is the thing that we started from the beginning when I said, in your model, most of these things have already been tested. I don't know if you recall that conversation, way back, but that's also why we added a lot of other questions that are not brought into your dissertation. And when we were running the findings, I indicated that, yeah, it is an issue that they're all significant, but there's also other models using your other data, where that's not the case. So most of my comments is about looking forward what that article would look like, because you got great measures, you have the appropriate theories, and we can look at other models later where there is insignificant direct, but also a mediation and moderated results that are, so there's some stuff that you haven't presented, but we said for the dissertation, just present what you have, let's get done with it, then we can move on to the post-dissertation life. So just a couple overall comments, and this is if anybody else who's following you is, either watching this virtually or whatever, is that, you had to rush towards the end, and that's because you spent so much time on the front end and all those other things. And so you have to really leave a lot of time to talk through the method, the results, and the implications. You had to rush through those. That's just time math, so not a big issue, and it's not even anything that you have to worry about because you're done. I just said that for anybody who might be listening, that they have to come up here next. So let's just talk about what the next steps would be, because there's a lot of good stuff here. There's easily 1 or 2 articles in good journals, and so some things to work on. There is a sample concern because it's heavily skewed towards students, but your sample size is large enough where you could do a stratified sample and use a lot fewer students, and therefore you'll have a much greater a distribution of age. So we can fix the sample concern quite easily. Some of the controls you had, most often controls are things like age, gender, size of company, that kind of stuff. So some of your controls that you have are really better suited for moderators because like you have a moderator of self-efficacy. A couple of those controls are really, moderators, so there's value in using them as moderators. I really like the contribution part and how you laid it up early on, that most of the work is about adoption. Certainly is. A lot less work on the continuation side. So that's really something to explore, because that has really solid, as Annie said, practical implications. Is that it's in most business, it's a lot easier to acquire a customer than it is to keep them. So there's that retention issue is really going to be, I think, an important contribution. And then in terms of just the value co-creation part, so how might you extend? So what are some of the, if you can recall, you probably hadn't had to think about it, what are some other variables that you have that might be valuable to plug into your model? Can you remember some of the other ones, or are you just focused on testing this one?
This is all independent to dependent, all are very global perspectives, but what I felt when I collected the data, the response I got, I have a direct interaction with my corporate. As I said, student was my one bucket, another one is my corporate WhatsApp group. When I talk with them one-to-one, I figure out that I should add, when I'm starting this kind of study, I should add some country-specific constraint, which can be tested, which is actually speaks user mind. So, but whatever variable I used here, all are global perspectives. In my next works, I would like to add some more regional perspectives, listen the user's mind.
Okay, so one way to handle that in an article, and we're doing this right now with someone who just presented not too long ago, in your article, focus on what emerging economies are doing. You can create a table and look at 5 or 6 countries that are having some of the same issues, so that's a really good starting point. The good news is that along the way you listen, you change things, you're leaving with great data, and great data leads to great papers. And so, congratulations on getting where you're at. Hopefully you want to write an article soon, sure. And so you got all the ammunition that you need. So great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Zahed. Very good presentation, interesting study. I've worked before with survey data. Again, it's painful, so it's a lot of work, so well done on that part. I second some of the comments that were mentioned by other committee members. I just had, and my comments are mostly like decorative, so just small improvement. One question I had, so I get that the age, because it's college students, so it's mostly younger, but why was the gender difference so big? Any idea?
Yeah, in Bangladesh, basically, my core is the technical know-how people. Second is, okay, within technical, who knows a little bit familiar with the AI. So when it blend this technical skill and then blend with AI, yeah, that surprised me. That's 65% male and sorry,
I think
70, yeah, 71 or 72, or yeah. So
I think it was like 80s.
yeah, so yeah, 84 and 14, yeah, exactly, 84 and 14. So that's the targeted. My criteria was the technical background and blend with AI, and then looks like I found they filled up as a female, and then when they saw the questions, they dropped it.
Oh, I see.
I saw, that's how I got around 448 or 450, and qualified data was 346. So I have to remove all those. They didn't proceed with they saw that more on AI. I assume, and I just check back for a couple of, they say, and then they replied that, yeah, I'm not so familiar with the AI, so I just dropped.
I see.
So that's what I see. It's from around 450 to 346. This is I need to remove them. Okay. Else they could contribute more, but they dropped in the middle of the survey.
So given that there's like some issues with AI, and given that AI is one of the things that you test for how likely they are to use these features with AI, maybe in those questions, maybe there you could have something that like, I don't know, question that I don't care about AI. So they kind of collect the data, but you kind of also get the data that the AI is not that important to them. So something to think about.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Couple, so the results were significant. One thing on the presentation side, it said the coefficient and it just said significant. I think I would have liked to see also like either the t-statistic or the p-value.
Yeah, I have in the appendix, I kept the long tables in the appendix. I placed those full table in the first, and then it creates very small font and it looks hazy. I ship them to the appendix. I ship them to the appendix. I ship them, previous one is the that hypothesis result, and this one is the mediation paths, and I just keep this one. This is not required actually. So I kept in the appendix this one. I kept this one in the beginning, but it looks very hazy. So that's what I waited for your question. If you require, then I'll move on to my appendix slide.
I see. Okay. And one thing, I think the paper would benefit by some robustness tests. Maybe running different specifications of the model where you include sometimes all the variables, sometimes just a subset of variables to see if the coefficient persists as significant. And it could also allow you to see which of these factors are more important than others. Because if you test them individually, they might all be significant. But if you put them all together, you might find that 2 out of the 6 variables.
Meaning item, sub-item, under item.
Say it one more time?
Sub-item or child under parent.
So like different model specifications. So in one regression model, you put all the variables. In one, you put maybe 4 of them. And so to see if the coefficient persistently stays significant for a variable.
Okay. Okay. Meaning,
So
okay, different angle of testing, different, okay.
Yeah. And it will also tell you which of these variables are probably either larger impact or more significant than others. Because if you put them all together, some might disappear, the significance.
Yep. My plan is to take this paper into a published mode with the help of my chair and my committee member. So I'm already in plan to work on details on data analysis in a robustness perspectives already, and definitely I need my chair and my committee member help to go into published mode. So yeah, definitely when we'll go into published mode, I will work on those robustness testing.
And another one could be also running the same models, but on subsamples. So you could maybe run it on the younger generation and one model on the older generation. Okay. So because they may care about different features. So let's say older generation might not be much familiar with AI, so they might not care much about the AI features, might care more about simplicity, while the younger generation might care more about more features and having more options. So
yeah, that's a very good one, I think so, yes. And in terms of latest technology and AI, and its expectation is different by age. Yeah, perfect. I'll take into consideration for sure.
Well, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That wraps up questions from the committee. Are there others from the audience that, any questions from the group?
I'll just, first of all, congratulations. You're the first in 2026, so great way to start the year. 2 comments. First of all, first dissertation, I see where all hypotheses are supported, the way you hypothesized. That's very interesting. Second comment with respect to the gender, I wonder if that could also be looked at in terms of what Oriane was saying, like, do they need to educate women more about the power of AI? Is there like an untapped source of customers that they are not looking into? Just 2 basic comments. Other than that, I'll open it to the audience. Anyone?
Thank you.
So I'm looking at AI as well. So my name's Caleb Pozans, part of cohort 11. I think that's what we are. So I'm looking at AI in accounting specifically, but one of the things that my question for you is, would you also consider like looking at people that are not familiar with AI? Because I see that you dropped, per your results, you dropped that, and I think that would skew your results a little bit. Have you thought about like including people that would, are not necessarily familiar with AI, first time usage and stuff? Because wouldn't that affect your trust in the AI bots and stuff used for bKash specifically, since that's what your process was on? And also, wouldn't that affect your value co-creation, specifically like those two hypotheses?
Yeah, so there is a couple of questions in these ask. First one is, yes, who are not familiar with the AI. So if you recall, my future research, I mentioned somewhere here. Future, yes. So the population, as I see, is a current one is the active users with the AI. Not here. I'm just saying that who are, I don't know where. Anyway, I mentioned here somewhere that yes. Yes. So basically, who are underserved users, meaning the underserved user who are not privileged with the technology, not privileged with the AI. Yes, if my study allows to extend little time, then definitely, as I said, I would include the AI literacy and fairness, that also. Meaning, first of all, definitely to get a whole picture of the user base, I need to include them, definitely, obviously, because they don't know what is technology, what is AI. They just press a button, they gives the pin, they get the money. That's it, their business. What is the behind the scenario, behind the fraudulent activity, chatbot system, all these offerings, they don't know. Yes, if my time allows, definitely I would love to include them, first to give them briefing about the AI, and then move on with the survey and questions, so that they can contribute. And basically, in this bKash, they are the main, is around 57 or 8% from the rural area, remaining from city base. But fortunately or unfortunately, my study drives me to work with mostly the city area people who are familiar with the technology, familiar with the AI. But definitely, if my time allows, I would love to include them. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?